Anti-Society, welcome back to the Antisocial Planet. Today we are checking out Yoohyeon's cover of Perfect for her birthday, and I know, everyone, prepare yourself. I actually know this song. I know, right? I am just as surprised as you are, but I know this one. So I'm excited to get to watch this video. It seems like we do have an actual video that is from the title. I think it's edited and directed by Yoohyeon herself. So she's just like made this video and this cover, which is always really sweet to see the videos that they put together to release for the fans and all of that. So I'm pretty excited to get into this. Will I survive? Who knows? It's always a little bit rough when we get into, you know, sweet songs like this one. And I'm looking at one of my biases in the face, honestly, any of the members, so we'll see how well I do in this. I mean, she's blonde, so that already makes me a little bit worried about what I'm about to get into, but it's fine. It's less than 3 minutes. We can survive that, right? Famous last words.
Found a love for me.
Gorgeous tone. That vibrato too.
Well, I found a girl, beautiful and sweet.
Gorgeous.
I never knew you were the someone waiting for me. We were just kids when we fell in love, not knowing what it was. I will not give you up this time.
Gorgeous layered vocals too.
Just kiss me slow. Your heart is all I own, and in your eyes, you're holding mine, baby. I'm
That little cry.
dancing in the dark with you between my arms, barefoot on the grass, listening to our favorite song. When you said you looked a mess, I whisper underneath my breath. You heard it, telling you look perfect tonight.
Oh, we're an actual video. Okay, sorry. That might be one of the longest times I've just let something play. Usually I gotta pause and I gotta say lots of things, but considering this is a song I actually know, it's a little bit easier. But so many things. Like, I love the breathiness that she's putting into the verses in comparison to that second half of the chorus, where it's a lot more in that like closure, like almost belting zone, right? It's not quite high enough in her range for her to like really need to like put some oomph behind her voice, but I love that she just has this really soft, breathy tone earlier on. Gorgeous vibrato in it as well, just adding in this vulnerability to that like quieter, more like intimate sound to the song. And then later on, as we get into the chorus, putting those little cries, breaks into her voice, which are gorgeous, adding in just like a wonderful like texture to the way that she's singing the song. And then of course getting into that second half of the chorus where she's, you know, getting a lot more closure with her vocal cords, not quite getting into that like a super powerful note, because that's not what this song needs. It doesn't need like a big kind of, I always say like a diva note of just like showstopper belting moment. Doesn't need that. So it's important that she gets some of that like almost like conviction, right, to the chorus of like saying like, you know, all of these things that you think are like imperfect or like you look a mess, I think you look perfect. That has to have like a certain conviction to it. So you need to have more power behind your voice as you're saying that. So just gorgeous overall, but we're going to get actual video. I didn't know if that was going to happen because we had like pictures up to this point, but actual video, I mean, she sounds gorgeous. And it's like in a lower part of her range too, because the original arrangement is for a male voice. Overall, just gorgeous.
Underneath my breath, you heard it, telling you look perfect tonight.
Oh, her smile.
Baby, I'm
Oh, go run.
dancing in the dark with you between my arms, barefoot on the grass.
Like more power behind her voice here.
Listening to our favorite song.
cry.
have faith in what I see. Now I know I have met an angel in person, and you look perfect. I don't deserve this, darling. You look perfect tonight.
Chills. I love that some of the instrumentals is where we get like the video part. Very dramatic. But okay, just I want to go back for a couple things. One, love that we're getting more power in her voice as we get into the second part, but I also love that as we get to the I don't deserve this, like that line, right? Talking before about needing more conviction into your voice, so you need a little more power, you need a little more closure, in contrast to the vulnerability of having like a very light, airy voice, even having that vibrato, literal warble in your voice, adding that vulnerability. So when she switches from this part where there's a lot of that closure in her voice, power behind her voice, again, not compared to some of the notes that she's hit in other songs, but again, powerful for the context of this song. As she gets into the I don't deserve this, her voice softens out, right? And then we get that break again of like vulnerability, break in her voice to add in more of that vulnerability. Just like great storytelling in her vocal delivery. I gotta listen to it again though, I got shivers.
An angel in person, and you look perfect. I don't deserve this, darling. You look perfect tonight.
Ugh. Her voice is just so gorgeous. It's actually not fair. I mean, gorgeous cover. Gorgeous. I mean, it's a beautiful song anyway, so great choice in terms of just picking something where you can showcase some of that like narrative, right? Again, like there's not a ton happening in this song in terms of like instrumental and production and all of that. So you need to lean into the storytelling elements of the song. So great showcase of that. Love the way that she was using her voice. And again, considering some of the vocals that I know that she can hit, her staying within the context of the song, reining in some of that power and ensuring that even when she is leaning more into that kind of powerful, lots of closure in her vocal cords, there's still a rein in on it, right? Like this is supposed to be a quiet, intimate moment between the narrator and who they're talking to. So great way of her just like keeping that contained. I know for some people who do have more of like a belting tone, that is something that you need. I say this as somebody who also has one of those, right? I say this as somebody who has a bit of a stronger voice because I trained it through opera and Broadway. So that is kind of my vocal background. And I did a lot of it unmiked. So I had to have a lot of projection in my voice. So training my voice to pull back was something that I had to work on a lot. So for someone like her who has that power behind her voice and can really project if she needs to, being able to stay within the confines of what this song needed is also really important to the overall storytelling. And also just a gorgeous tone. Like her voice is just so beautiful. It makes me angry. What right does she have to have a voice that sounds like that? You know, it's got to be a gorgeous performance when I get halfway through the song before I pause. Somebody who's like notorious for needing to pause to point out specific things. But I think just this song has such a important like narrative element to it, right? Ed Sheeran. So there's going to be a lot of that narrative lean, at least for a lot of his like earlier songs. I don't know so much about more recent things. I haven't kept up with him, but a lot of that earlier on. So breaking up the flow of that narrative feels like an injustice with some of this, especially since I already know the song. So I can kind of let it go a little bit longer because I don't need to like break down the actual song parts of it. But just gorgeous. I mean, I knew that, but also still manages to give me shivers even with a less than 3 minutes in this. There's also like instrumentals, like how much of that is her actually singing, and you know, basically just pictures with like a little bit of video thrown in there, but also just like a gorgeous video for her to put out and a cover. And again, I always love to see what the members put out is just like little gifts and things to their fans, little projects that they find the time to put together like by themselves, right? Like this was something that Yoohyeon just put together and released, and I think that that's such a wonderful thing that she took the time to do that and wanted to create that. So loved it so much. I'm going to be going back and listening to it and I just have a huge smile on my face. I can feel like my muscles in my face hurting because I'm just like smiling because it's just a beautiful, beautiful cover that she did. And I hope that you enjoyed listening to that along with me. You can click those plays to go see my previous actions, or you can subscribe to me next time I post a Dreamcatcher reaction. I will see you in the next video. Bye.